We are having so much fun recording these podcasts and putting them out to the world. If you appreciate what we're doing here, the one free thing that you can do that will make a huge difference is hit that subscribe button.
So the idea is to improve just by 1%.
Discipline. Is it important in endurance sports?
Motivation is just a match that you light that lasts for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and it's gone. It's when you're doing a marathon, you're going to be doing your LA marathon. Instead of trying to do 42K, you could break it up.
How do we keep up? How do we balance this?
Everybody knows what to say. It's funny how everybody knows what to say to someone else, but they're not really good at following their own advice. My technique is not perfect, but almost perfect.
Well, speaking of which, I wanted to talk to you about your swimming technique, Pierre. It's actually good. So keep going.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Triathletes think that they're swimming a lot.
Give me an appreciation of what would you consider a high volume of swimming.
Triathletes do not practice enough in lakes.
Good day, folks, and welcome to the Brik, where we secure your triathlon journey. I'm Dominic, Double D Deschênes. I'm with Coach Pierre Zwartman. Good day, Coach.
That's me.
Wow, that was a quick intro. My God.
Good day.
You look happy, Coach.
I'm happy, man.
Why are you so happy?
I'm so excited. This is so much fun.
It really is.
It's so much fun. So to be truthful, the two first podcasts we recorded, it was a hellraiser of video montage to do. It was crazy. Okay, so now I think we've improved the technological part, and we got my son Nick in the back.
Hey,
we got a crew.
Welcome.
I actually hired him.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yeah, it's taken me a lot of. It's gonna relieve a lot of my stress.
No, and it will, and he'll be fact checking for us, time keeping for us. He'll be doing all that fun stuff in the back end that we don't see, that you and I used to take care of while we were sharing
in the good old days in our first two episodes. So the idea is to improve just by 1%
every time,
every single time. But I think we've gotten a leap, like a little bit of a leap.
Well, and
maybe 10%.
Okay, we'll say 10%. Hey, but I just want to say thank you to our watchers and listeners, because it's been a fantastic. Well, first two episodes were great. Yeah. We had fun recording them.
Yeah.
And you know what? You provided a lot of comments, feedback, and thank you so much. And please feel free, if you want us to discuss any topics or any subjects or anything you'd like us to bring up at the Brik at one of the upcoming sessions, let us know. We'll be more than happy to entertain your subjects.
Yes, I'm loving it.
I want to talk about, so we're in March, Coach. We're getting ready for, the spring and summer season. So the fun stuff is around the corner. Yeah. I want to touch on discipline. Discipline.
Like
Sounds boring. Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like it is. But discipline, is it important in endurance sports, like in triathlon? Your 2 cents on discipline.
People think that it's motivation is the key. Motivation is just a match that you light that lasts for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and it's gone. It's the spark plug in the car. It's only an igniter. Motivation is very, very futile.
So I got a quote that says, motivation gets you going and discipline keeps you going.
I agree 100%.
There you
Discipline is the hard thing to do because people think too much of a long-term thing. So they have to be disciplined every day for the whole year. Well, if you think like that, it's not sustainable. So what you want to do is you just want to go day by day. So discipline is super important. It's the key to any success in any sport, in any business, in anything you want to do, anything you want to accomplish.
Before we continue on discipline, did you notice something special today on my head, Coach?
Yeah, it's a hat that what is that? It's the easiest sport in the world.
Nah. It's the most complex. It's not made for everyone, by the way. It will take you some time to get there and understand the game and how it's played.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Remember, I shared that video again with you, right?
I remember.
The most difficult thing to do in any professional sports around the globe, folks, is to hit a baseball. No, it's not. No violin.
Hit a baseball.
Yes. Yes.
So, so 100-mile-an-hour baseball must be incredibly hard to hit.
Yep.
So I think that if I had 10 chances, maybe give me 100 chances.
Yep. You would
Probably I'll hit one. Maybe
Yep.
two.
Yep. Yep.
Now I have like this incredible abilities, maybe three. Now I'm asking you this. Say I give you 100 chances to do a quadruple loop in the figure skating. A quadruple loop. That's 4 turns in the air and land. Out of 100 tries, how many do you think you're
Well,
gonna
I would
get?
probably call in sick. But so there you go. I wouldn't even show up. But hey, there's a reason why I'm wearing that baseball cap, Coach. I'll be doing the LA Marathon in the next couple of days on
Fantastic.
March 17th. Yes, sir. I'm not ready for it, but still, I'll be doing it. Looking forward to it. And guess what? The start line is at Dodger Stadium, where the LA Dodgers are playing. That's the only reason why I registered to the marathon.
Will you be going by that new stadium, SoFi Stadium?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, not that I'm aware
That
of.
is a beautiful stadium. It's the one that the Chargers play at in football and the LA Rams play at.
Yep.
So both teams play at the same place?
Not aware, but if I do, I promise I'll take a picture while I run. I'll
Okay.
pause and I'll record
So
a little
42
video.
kilometers in
Yep.
LA. What's the temperature like in March?
18 to 20,
Oh,
which
okay,
is
that's okay.
great.
That's okay.
And the finish line is on Hollywood Boulevard.
Fantastic.
It's amazing, right?
Oh.
It's all that, famous LA, Hollywood ambiance that...
So you've been to Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, I've been there twice.
Okay.
Yeah, but I haven't been on the field, but I will be this time around because the start line is on the field.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
Okay.
Anyways, that's the reason why I'm wearing. So discipline. Like baseball players have huge, high level of discipline. But let's talk about triathlete.
I got to get handed to something. I mean, they play 162 games a year.
They do.
It's a lot of games. I imagine that it's hard on the body, but a lot of those baseball players aren't exactly super cut.
So back to discipline, folks. Yep, that's what we're talking about. And our crew members in the back here. Thank you, guys. Oh, there's just a one.
They
person.
already know there's only
well,
Nick,
that's
but
it.
I mean, we actually, we had 0, and now we've improved to 1. So that.
We've doubled up the staff.
Well, it's more than double because when you go to 0 to 1, there's not even a stat for that because it's like infinity. It's 100% or 1,000%
increase.
more.
So discipline, your definition of discipline, what would it be? What would be your definition of discipline?
Well, discipline is somebody who understands that. So we're talking about triathlon.
Yeah.
He understands that there's a training plan. So most people have a training plan. Either they've got it on the internet, they're part of a club, they have a coach, they have a plan. Most people have that, and they know that maybe 6 times a week they have to train. Maybe they'll get a day off, maybe 2 days off a week. They know that you should be training, you should be following the plan. The reality is sometimes you can't follow the plan. Discipline for me is somebody skips 1 day of training, it's not a problem. You start skipping 2 days of training in a row, then you're losing that discipline. Already after 48 hours, you're losing that discipline.
Yep.
Once you get to 3 days, it becomes a week, it becomes a month, becomes a
And then you
2
lose
months.
control. And then it's hard to gain it back.
And then
right?
that's it. And then you do the LA Marathon, and you're not quite ready.
Okay. So I'm still going to do a decent time, by the way. No,
Sure.
I'm
But you've been
confident.
running.
Yeah,
You've been
yeah,
running.
I've been running.
I'll give you a
It's
bit of
just that I'm not going there to have my, like, a
Will you be
PR.
reading a book while you're doing the marathon?
No, I won't.
People have asked on the comments, will he be reading a book while he's doing the marathon?
Not while I do the marathon, but I continue reading books on the treadmill, and I love it. And I did it this morning again.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So discipline would it be fair to say that it's a set of rules or guidelines that exist to bring you to success, to help you achieve your goals? Would that be a fair definition of discipline?
The rules and the guidelines are discipline?
The rules and guidelines give you will force the behavior you need to achieve success. Would that be a fair definition of discipline?
I think if you follow the rules and the guidelines, yes. If not, no.
So-
I think discipline is really, it sounds like, when I think of rules and guidelines, I think of an exterior explanation, something that's come from outside.
Yep.
But I think discipline comes from inside.
So interesting enough, you know what? We had a conversation at the office this week talking about the difference between rigor and discipline. So
There's a difference.
apparently there is
Rigor and discipline.
yes, sir. So
Okay.
if it comes from the outside, if you have a legal entity like the Security Exchange, I work in a financial institution, so Security Exchange Commissions asking you to comply to a given control, it's called rigor. If it comes from inside the organization, it's discipline.
Okay.
Similar to what you were saying just now.
I agree with that. We talked about it in the first episode, the atomic habits.
Yep.
And I think the motivation is starts once you get going into your plan, or you decided I'm going to start running. You start running with 1 kilometer, and the next day 2 kilometers, or whatever.
Yep.
Whatever you've decided, you're going to follow as a plan. Discipline doesn't become a thing once you get the habit. It's no longer this cage, because discipline feels like we're in a cage. It feels like these special people that have these special abilities. These people are disciplined. But discipline is for everybody. Everybody can have discipline. But once you develop the habit, there's nothing better when you start running and you start running a lot. You feel like running all the time. It becomes almost second nature because it feels good.
Yeah.
So then it just becomes a habit. It just becomes something fun to do.
Yep.
It doesn't become something that you're thinking, oh my God, today I got to go run. It is like that in the beginning because you're not in the habit of running.
No.
So I think there's 3 steps. I think there's the motivation, then there's the discipline, and then there's the habit, and then it's just automatic.
So it's like some sort of a training regimen, more or less, that you're talking about.
For sure.
What about mental focus? Is that somehow related to
everything?
discipline?
Of course, it's related. It's 100% related because it's all the same. For me, the mental, the body, the spiritual, all that is together. There are incredible studies about this. People about smoking. Okay.
Yep.
So there are. If this is really interesting, this is how your mind is strong. So if people look at somebody, like, have you ever seen the series Mad Men?
Yes.
Okay, so Mad Men, they were always lighting up cigarettes during the show. They were drinking whiskey. Every time they would drink whiskey, I felt like drinking whiskey. When they would smoke, smokers wanted to smoke. But you know that when they would put the cigarette out, smokers didn't feel like smoking anymore. Now, they did a test with Mad Men. So there was one group that watched the show, and they would only see the images of the actors lighting up, and their want to smoke was higher.
Okay.
And then they would only see images of the actors putting the cigarettes out, and the number of cigarettes they would smoke a day went down.
Okay.
So your
the
brain
mental piece is huge.
is super, super important. You can be influenced only by images, by sound, by atmosphere, by your situation, by your social network, even more than the physical part.
Again, this week at the office, time management. No. It's interesting because, discipline is a big topic at the office. And time management is a huge topic. And we talk about people being focused on what they do. Well, you know what? Sometimes to become disciplined with what you do, you need to increase that focus. And you need people to focus on what they do. So I don't know if you've heard of that concept called Pomodoro.
No.
It's the 25-minute focus.
I use that. I didn't know it was called Pomodoro.
That's what it's called.
That.
You can actually download the app on any app stores. It's called Pomodoro. It's not an orange, a tomato, I believe. That's what it is. That's the logo of the
Pomodoro.
App. Pomodoro. Si, senor. And there's science behind it where it tells that the brain functions to its optimal level for up to 25 minutes. And then after that 25-minute period, you start losing some efficiency. There you go. We see Pomodoro. You see fact checking. There you go. That's a tomato. We have it.
Is that an
right
apple
there.
or a tomato?
It seems to be a tomato. No, it's a tomato. Confirmed. Toronto confirms it is a tomato. This is great. But 25 minutes, then take a break for 5, and then start over again. And you know what? That discipline piece that you talked about, that training regimen that you talked about, is pretty much the same. When you get into that regimen of, training, running, swimming, biking, yoga class, stretching, name it, anything you need in triathlon, then it's all about having that dedicated focus to make it happen. Makes a huge difference, right?
The thing I like about the Pomodoro
Yeah.
is that you plan, because there's a 5-minute break. Well,
Bingo.
The 5-minute break is planned. So
Yes.
you have to, when you're training, you have to be training.
Yep.
When you're not training,
You have
you're
to
either
not be
working
training.
or you're doing something else. But you
Bingo.
have to be in that moment.
Yep.
Planning for breaks and planning for time off
Yep.
is super important. And that's why the 25-minute, 5 minutes works. Because I look forward to that 5-minute break.
Yep. And you know that you only need to focus for 25 minutes.
Instead
And
of
then
a whole day.
Well, that's it. And you know what I started doing? In line with Atomic Habits, I need to get back. I need to work on that 6-pack.
Yeah.
I do. Yes, sir. So what I do...
How many packs do you have now?
I don't have any. They're all gone. I don't know what happened to them, man.
A 1-pack.
They're all gone. Oh yeah, well, I'd love to see it or find it because I can't see it anymore. I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about your 6-pack.
I was talking
Your
about my.
eventual
Oh,
civic.
so what I do, in line with Atomic Habits, right? With what James Clear was recommending in his book, is to, when I hit that 25-minute mark and I take that 5-minute break, I do a set of crunches.
Oh, fantastic.
Or plank or whatever.
Fantastic.
I love it. It's my cue to, hey, lucky you deserve to do plank for a minute or
I
2
usually
minutes.
eat
Shut up.
because I work at home, so
Okay,
I
so
work
there you go.
downstairs. I work
that
downstairs. I
first
do my
time.
25 minutes, and when a 5-minute comes, I go, all right, I'm gonna go have a snack. Yeah.
So respect of rules, respect of training regimen, respect, like having some accountabilities, sportsmanship, integrity. All of this is part of the discipline aspect that we're talking about, right?
For sure. I mean, when people start doing a plan, they're looking at the whole thing for the whole year, and they're focusing on the too much of the big picture. It's okay to always have in mind that you have an event at certain date.
Yep.
But you really got to go day by day. So today I had, an hour of running to do. So that's all I had to do today. But if I start thinking I've got 12 hours a week to do, it becomes this huge thing.
It's
It
like,
becomes
how do you
this
eat an
huge
elephant,
task.
right? How do you eat
Exactly.
an elephant? One bite at a time. So that's
One
what I-
bite at a time. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I like that
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So 1 hour today, tomorrow's another hour, and then maybe there's going to be an hour and a half. Then there's a little bit of... So keeping it simple, keeping it with little sections. And that, by the way, when we're going to talk eventually about strategy, when you're doing a marathon, you're going to be doing your LA marathon. Instead of trying to do 42K, you could break it up. You could say every time I'm going to get to a water station, a hydration station, I'm going to look forward to that, and I'm going to have... Will I have Gatorade? Will I have a gel? Will I have Coke? Will I have water? Will I just say hi to a volunteer? And then what am I going to do next time? So you're breaking it up. And if you're breaking up breaking up the section in little sections for the marathon, you should be doing the same thing for.
And you know what?
for
That's
your
what I
training.
do every time. Glad to hear that. That's a good strategy because that's what I do. I usually when I take off, whether it be the last portion of the Ironman or doing a marathon.
Yeah.
I usually look at it as I have to do 10 times 4 kilometers.
Yeah.
And then every 2 stations, more or less, they're at like usually 1.6, 1.7 kilometers apart, right? So I usually, congrats myself, say, hey, 1 more 4K done. So there you go. I've only got 9 to go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I get an extra 2K at the end. Isn't it great?
It's great. I remember one time we did 180 kilometers with this guy called Philip, and he says, "Oh, we're going to break it up in sections." And after what it was 10 kilometers. We do 10 kilometers. He goes, "Oh no, we did 5 kilometers," and he goes, Oh, by the way, we've done 1/36th of our
our
180 kilometers. And I go, shut up.
Well, on the virtual rides that we do during the week and even over the weekend, that's usually something I do these maths, right? And people find it funny, but it's rewarding to know that you've done 50% of the workout,
Yeah.
or that you're halfway through the first third of the workout.
See,
right?
50% doesn't do it for me, but
no.
75 or 66%.
There's
So
a
when I get over
trigger,
to
though.
2/3,
Yeah,
it's
mentally.
as if, okay, there's a lot less to go than I had before. 50% of a marathon still feels like I got a lot of running to do. But maybe that's just me. Comment below if you
Yeah,
agree.
please, or disagree, or if you want me to hit, Coach Pierre with this, it'll be my pleasure.
Yeah,
I love this tool.
I love
have
it.
another
I'm
one at
glad
home,
it's
by the
actually
way.
in foam.
So in case you lose it, or by accident it disappears,
Or I burn
have
it.
another one at home.
Okay, great.
There you go. Time management, coach. Discipline and time management. Is this? It's tough sometimes. I see triathletes. Most of them have a professional life. They have kids. They have a family life. They have friends. They have a social network. How do we keep up? How do we balance this? And I want to make a quick observation before I let you comment on this, Coach. If you commit to doing an event, if you commit to do a 70.3 or a full Ironman or whatever event you commit to do, make sure you commit to it till the end, including the training and the time management portion of it. Consider it before you register, right?
That would be
That would be a smart thing to do.
Would be smart.
But if it's too late, you've registered, and then you realize, say, holy macro, what the hell is this? I need so much time for training. Well, you committed to, completing a 70.3 or a full Ironman. Well, commit to that time because you do need that time. So realign your schedule and, get your ducks lined up from a time management perspective.
Time management is all about the human negotiating with himself.
It really is.
So you have a workout to do in the morning.
Yep.
And it's really easy to say, you wake up in the morning, you're tired. I'll do it later in the afternoon. I'll do it at lunchtime.
Procrastination.
And
right?
then you get to the lunchtime and then you negotiate it with yourself again and say, you know what? I have time to do it this evening. I'll do it before supper. Oh, I had supper. I'll do it after supper. So first of all, make sure that your structure of your time, so if your workouts are in the morning or in the evening, it fits your lifestyle. It fits your schedule.
Agreed.
It fits the amount of energy that you have
and your
during the
balance
day.
as well in your
Of course.
life.
Of course.
It's key because otherwise you're going to end up being frustrated, demotivated, because you're not going to do, like if you keep on pushing, procrastinating about your training, next thing you'll know, it's not going to work for you and you're going to give up. So
that's why one of the key things is, say you have an hour workout and you don't have an hour, but you maybe have 15 minutes. Well, do 15 minutes and then just put an X on the last 45 minutes and just don't do it.
Agreed.
But at least you've kept the discipline. You've kept the habit of training.
Bingo.
You've committed to your schedule. Because a lot of times you'll say, oh, I got an hour to do. I don't have time this morning, so I'll do it this evening. And then you end up doing zero. And zero is worse
it
than
really is.
2 minutes any day.
And coach, it happened to me this week. I had an hour and 5 minutes of running to do. On Thursday, it didn't fit my schedule. On Friday morning, I went swimming. Then I came back. I said, you know what? I have 40 minutes. I went on my treadmill with my book, of course, for 40 minutes. I did the 40 minutes, and I put a big X on that extra 20 minutes, which I wasn't able to do anyways. It didn't fit my schedule, right? But, I had that sense of, okay, I still did a good portion of my workout, which is good. I felt good about it.
I think people think that if they do only 40 minutes of it an hour, it's like a failure.
No,
But in training and in anything, it's never a failure. Doing 60% of anything is never a failure. Doing nothing at all, skipping it altogether, that could be called a failure.
I want to bounce back on something important you mentioned. Be in the moment. Be in the moment. If you discipline yourself to get up at 5 a.m. to go swimming, well, be in that moment when you're in that pool at 6 o'clock in the morning. be in that moment and focus on your swim training?
Well, it's called being mindful.
Being mindful.
So being
Yep, yep, yep,
mindful
yep,
is
yep.
is something that 90% of the people aren't mindful most of the time. So, you ever been in your car and you're going down the auto route and you usually take an exit to go somewhere, but that day you're going somewhere else, but you still take that same exit? It's because your brain was somewhere else. When you're swimming or when you're running or when you're cycling, try to be a swimmer, a runner, or a cyclist. But if you're working, work. Like if you're working and you're thinking about you haven't trained, then you're not mindful about your work. If you're training and you're thinking about all the emails you have to answer when you get to the office, you're not mindful about your swimming. And actually, you're wasting a little bit of your time.
You
Because
are.
it's not focus training. Focus training, listening to the coach is telling you to try something, and then you're trying to do that, but you're thinking of something
You're
else.
thinking of emails and meetings at work.
Yeah, and we've all done that.
Oh, of course, of course.
But trying to get a way to put a certain key in your brain and say, whoa, wait a second. Right now, I'm not concentrating on what I should be doing.
You know what? You mentioned being in your car and, turning left instead of turning right. It happened to me this week, Coach.
Okay.
I had to go downtown, at Quartier 10-30 and Brossard, right? And I had to go downtown. I wanted to take the REM, the new public transportation, right, that we have in the Montreal area. And I had to, taking off, the exit off Highway 30, I had to make it right to go to the REM parking. Well, guess what? I'm so used to go to Quartier 10-30, which is that big shopping center that we have. I turned left.
Yeah.
And then I woke up like 2 sets of lights, later, and I said, what am I doing? I had to do a U-turn and then come back and then go back to... I wasn't in the moment. I was thinking about my work. I was thinking about that presentation I had to do downtown. I wasn't thinking about, okay, I got to get to that parking. I got to get on that REM, on that public transit, and then go to and get downtown. My mind was elsewhere, right?
Now, if we're doing it in a car and everybody does it while they're driving,
Oh.
we do it. That means you do it all the time.
Yep.
And you're not aware about it.
No.
You're not aware of it. There was a high-level coach that was coaching Olympic athletes, and he wanted his athletes to be in the moment and to be mindful.
Okay.
And he said when you got into your car, you have to listen to the click of your seatbelt in the car, and you had to.
that.
If you listen to the click, you would go on their Facebook
Yeah.
page, and you had to write down, "I heard the click."
No.
And in the beginning, almost none of his athletes were hearing the click.
Okay, I like
It took
that.
a lot of energy
I
to
like
get
that.
into the car and actually click. Are we okay, Nick?
This one stopped because the storage was full,
Oh,
so we'll keep on this one.
All right.
Okay.
That's okay.
all right. Storage is full. Wow. Okay. Well, I bought the cheap version of this device.
Cheap
this,
version of the iPad 15.
Yeah. Well, okay. Okay. Good. Accountability. Last piece on discipline. Accountability. Is that something that we need to keep
I
in
think
mind as
so.
well?
I think if you're accountable to somebody else,
Yep.
either a training buddy
Makes a
or
big difference.
a coach or a club, a training buddy is probably the best.
Yeah, you've done that this year, right? You've
Yeah.
introduced that concept in the club, and
Yeah.
so far so good.
I think so. I mean, it's funny that out of 150 people, maybe 50 people, like a third of the club got into the training buddies thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people probably think either they don't need the buddy because they're fine, or they don't want the buddy because they might have to be disciplined, kind of thing. So that was interesting, and it's working. I thought that it was only going to be a very light thing, maybe once a week, but people have been writing to each other a lot. So the training buddies things,
And
have been
even
working.
on Zwift, these virtual rides that we do, I see people talking to, hey, my buddy's here. Glad my buddy showed up. I'm glad, So
Yeah.
it's making a.
So
it's
the
having an
buddy
impact.
system is really simple. Is you
Yep.
have one person that you're accountable to,
Yep.
and you tell that person what you have problems with motivation or discipline. Is it swimming or is it running or something like that? And they're helping you out and giving you a little bit of tips and tricks.
Yep.
Everybody knows what to say. It's funny how everybody knows what to say to someone else, but they're not really good at following their own advice.
their own
So by
guidelines and
saying it to
rules.
somebody else,
Yeah.
they realize, okay, I should be doing that myself. So no, it's
Huge
really-
difference.
It's really interesting.
I quickly want to. Are we okay on time? Yeah, we're good. All right. So before we conclude this episode, Coach, swimming. I want to talk about swimming. You publish on a regular basis interesting video or on drills to do at the pool. How do we like? I swim. I find, and maybe my reading is wrong. You tell me if it is. I find that swimming is the most difficult of all three disciplines. That once you've stopped training for a few weeks or a few months, and you want to gain that endurance again in your swim, I find it very difficult to gain it back. I find that running and cycling is easier. You still need to invest and be disciplined and commit and train, but I find it easier to get back into that endurance mode or to get back to a decent level of endurance compared to swimming. I find it more difficult. Is my reading correct? Or
You're absolutely correct. 5% of triathletes are good swimmers.
okay,
5%.
5%.
So
Wow.
95% of people get into triathlon. Their origin sport is not swimming.
It's not swimming.
So first of all, being good at a sport or being talented at a sport helps with the progression, the fast progression. All right?
Okay.
That's what helps.
Yep.
Second of all is, when I start swimming, my feeling in the water is really, really good because I'm a good swimmer. It'll take time to get back my endurance, but I will need less reps and less mileage than you.
Okay.
Okay?
And why is that?
It's just because swimming is not your origin.
So you have the technique and you know what to focus on.
Yeah, because
to
you're
get back in
focusing a
time.
lot on technique and how to swim.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Like I
It's
know
more
how
of a
to swim.
natural-
My
yeah.
feeling is good.
Yeah.
My technique is not perfect, but almost perfect.
Well, speaking of which, I wanted to talk to you about your swimming technique, Pierre. It's actually good. So keep going.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your expert comments.
Anytime.
So, I mean, I wasn't an Olympic swimmer. I coached Olympians, but the ability to swim for me is easy. And anybody who has swam before knows what feeling of the water is. All right.
Yep,
So
yep.
I had a good feeling the first 200 meters. I haven't swam in a long time. And then after that, my shoulders get tight. My muscles get tight. But my muscles and my shoulders wake up after less
They
reps
say,
than
oh,
you.
okay, I know what this is.
Yeah.
And
So
then
a good runner will feel the sensation of running will come back actually quite quickly.
Yep.
The endurance will take time. Now, the other thing is triathletes think that they're swimming a lot.
But we're not.
But-
no,
but they
I
are
mean,
not swimming a lot.
Okay, so what's swimming a lot? Give me an appreciation of what would you consider a high volume of swimming.
Okay.
Let's say in a week's time.
So let's go for an Olympic level swimmer that does endurance.
So
That's
top.
100 kilometers a week. So 1,500 meter Olympic swimmers, their total weeks
100 kilometers.
a week.
I don't even know. I don't do it even in
Yeah.
cycling.
It's 15 to 20 kilometers a day.
Oh my
All
God!
right.
Okay,
So that's the high level of distance.
Wow!
So they'll swim as much as a lot of high level runners will run per week. Okay, so that's one. For high level triathletes, it's at least 5 to 6 workouts a week. And we're talking between 15 and 25 kilometers a week. So
Okay,
that's
of swimming.
high level professional triathletes.
Okay.
So they're not getting all the mileage that they could get because they have to do so much more.
Yep.
But they are doing a lot. Amateur triathletes,
8 to
adult
10.
triathletes, we're talking about once or twice a week, sometimes 3, and we're talking about between 2 and 5 kilometers a week.
Okay, so I'm anywhere between 8 and 10, and I usually swim 3 times a week. So
that-
I'm okay.
So I think that
I'm okay.
any amateur triathlete is swimming twice to 3 times a week
Okay.
will do very well for the needs of triathlon.
Yep.
Because to be honest, the swimming part of a triathlon is
the
very,
small-
very
yeah,
short.
Yeah, no, it really is. And you mentioned to me once, your goal as a triathlete is to get out of the lake, the water, and consuming the least amount of energy
I never
possible.
said that.
You did.
Never have I ever said that. You could watch all the videos.
No, but that was
That's
an
what-
informal. You were drunk that night.
That's what
that's when you mentioned that to me.
amateur triathletes who don't like swimming would like to think they have this objective of getting out of the water and having the least amount of energy possible.
Consume.
Talk to any triathlete.
Consume.
Talk to any triathlete
Yeah.
who's really good in swimming.
Yeah.
They will give the maximum amount of energy for that swim. And once they get on the bike, they're recuperated from the swim. It's gone.
Okay. Well, I've heard that somewhere. If it wasn't you, Coach, I'm
Yeah.
sure it was you, but I think it was after 2 shots of tequila or something like that. So,
I mean, I think you want to get the most efficient possible and the
Yep.
best endurance possible, but you want to swim fast as possible. You want to swim your best potential because you're using your arms. You're not going to be using your
no, but
shoulders
that's it.
and your
The
arms
upper body part is
for the
gone after-
rest,
for the rest of the event.
of the event.
Your journey, right? Exactly.
So get out of your head, triathletes, that you're supposed to be giving a minimum of effort in the swim.
So swim.
Swim, and you should be tired. You should get out of the water and go, oh, man, that was a good swim. Like, I
And
can't
you know
talk.
what? I usually feel exhausted when I come out of the water, Coach. That's on record, right? It's been recorded, though. So I feel exhausted.
I remember somebody who says, "How do you do a sprint triathlon?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, you go all out on the swim, you go all out on the bike, and you go all out on the run." And he says, "Oh, you don't try to." I said, "No, you
No.
You don't try to do
And
that.
what about the transitions? You're all out on transitions
course,
as well. Man,
of
I
course.
hope so.
You're not-
And they're sexy, right? And they're sexy. I remember they're sexy, the transitions.
My
So
se-
then,
my
how do
transitions.
I improve that endurance as an amateur triathlete, and I want to improve that endurance?
Okay, so it's the same as running. So in running,
Yep.
you have 3 types of workouts.
Yep.
You have an interval, a short interval workout. You have a long interval workout, and you have a long swim, a long run.
Long run, yeah.
In swimming, you have short intervals, you have long intervals, and you have continuous swims.
Yep.
If you follow a normal program for swimming, which is based on endurance, so between 400 meters and your 3,800 meters,
Yep.
you're going to have those 3 kinds of workouts.
Okay.
The thing with swimming is that you need to work a lot on technique because with any sport that is a gliding sport, so we're talking about skating, cross-country skiing, and swimming.
Luge, bobsleigh. Okay,
well.
sure.
Yeah, it is gliding, but it's not the same kind of gliding. But if you're talking about those kind of sports, technique and timing is really, really important. So doing a lot of lengths of technique actually improves your swimming technique and actually improves your endurance a lot.
So then, speaking techniques, so what should I focus on? Like, what should be my priority? Like, which one of the drills? We do a lot of them in your swim class. So, which one should I be focusing on? Which one do I need? Which one should I be focusing on?
So, if you've been looking on this channel, there's a lot of videos on that. First of all, body position is super important, and people think that body position is your body being really high on the water. That's a myth. If you actually look at really on the surface of the water and you look at Olympic swimmers, you're going to see their head and their shoulders out of the water, but no other part of the bodies are out of the water.
Interesting.
I mean, 95% of their bodies are underneath the water.
Yep.
But what you want is you want horizontal. So you don't want this. You don't want your head to be up and your legs to be down.
Okay.
So a swimmer, when he goes fast, everything just goes like this. When he goes slow, everything is
just
lower.
goes down.
So horizontal is super important, and usually it starts with your head and the way you breathe. We talked about the form goggles the other day.
Yep.
Using the form goggles to decide if you have a front pivot or a side pivot is a good way to find out. After that, you want to be able to have the catch. The catch is what you do in the beginning. So you're putting your hand in and you're putting your elbow up. That's the catch.
Okay.
After that is pulling underneath the water, and then you got your push.
Okay.
It's really hard to just look at videos and improve.
Yeah.
But if you're going to look at videos and improve, look at my videos. They're amazing. But there are quite a few really good YouTube channels for swimming. Look at the videos, but you need to have confirmation from either a video or a coach that's saying, you know, what you're looking at and what you're feeling in the water is exactly the right thing.
Or use the form goggles. Which
Form goggles
I'm
will
still
help.
using, by the way, and I've corrected. I mentioned it to you last.
You
last
corrected
week.
your front pivot.
I did, and it makes a huge difference. I
You
gained
improved by, you said?
about 3 to 4 seconds per 100 meters, which
That's
is
amazing.
not bad.
No, that's a lot.
But I
People
know.
think that 3 or 4 seconds per 100
but
is not
I
a lot.
find
It's
this
a lot.
to be it is amazing because I've been sitting at that same pace for some time, right? And now going down 3-4 seconds was like, wow, a huge
Because don't
win.
forget, it's 3 or 4 seconds without using more strength or
No,
more power.
it's just my head
or
position.
more energy.
That's it.
You
That's
just
it.
change your head position. And when you think about it, for 1,500 meters, that's 1 minute.
Wow, yeah. You're right. You're right.
And
I
1
haven't
minute,
done the math, but
1
you're
minute,
absolutely right.
it takes you're allowed to take more time in your transition now. Right, Dom?
That being said, so transition, I've actually improved by 50% my transitions last year, and that is my number one focus this year is to improve my transitions again.
Really? Okay. You heard it
It
here.
really is. So we have to get ready because soon now we've been pool swimming for the last 4 or 5 months, at least for those of us that live in Quebec. Or in the northern part of North America. We're going to be going outside anytime soon. April, May time frame. It's going to be cold still, but we're going to be going outside. So if I want to continue improving that endurance sports, what should I be, that endurance portion of the swimming? What should I be focusing on once I get into open water swimming?
So 2 things.
That's
You want to bring up your mileage. So
Yep.
if you've been swimming an hour in the indoors, because usually what happens is that when you're doing swim practices, you only have an hour. That happens a lot. So when you want to go outside, then if you have access to a lake, there's really no limit of time. Yep. So bringing up your mileage another 50% would be great. So 50% when you think about it. Yep. If you've been swimming an hour and you go for an hour and a half, you've improved by 50%.
Yep.
50% is a lot.
No, it is.
So
It
that'll
really is.
help.
Okay.
The other thing you want to work on is rhythm. Okay, there's a thing called the tempo trainer.
Yep.
I've talked about it in my videos before. So the tempo trainer is it gives
neat
you
tool.
a beat. So you can listen to music. There's new headphones now that don't go in the ears; they go around the ears. That's great. You can listen to music. So go on Spotify and download a 180 beats per minute a playlist.
Oh, there you go.
And
Then
that'll give you
just-
rhythm.
no, that'll
So
give
you want to
the
bring up your
pace,
rhythm. You want to bring up your mileage. You want to practice a lot in the lake. Triathletes do not practice enough in lakes. They'll go
Open water
once.
swim,
And they go,
yeah.
oh, I did an open water
there you go.
practice.
So
I'm
it
ready
works.
to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
And then they wonder why in their Garmin or their Strava they have
They
these
go like
these,
this, the zigzag effect, right?
Yeah.
And it's such a different experience. Like, it's unbelievable. It's a different, almost a different sport.
It's so zen. You're
really-
swimming in a lake.
Yep.
You're looking at the trees or the mountains or whatever you're swimming. I love it. I mean I think swimming is great in a pool, but swimming in a lake.
No, I agree.
Oceans are even better.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, that reminds me of Florida 2 years ago. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Choppy swim with sharks and jellyfish. There you go.
There we go.
That was fun. Coach, that brings us to the end of our 3rd episode of the Brik already. Time
yeah.
flies. Just want to say thank you again.
Thank you.
Done a great job. High five.
Yes.
sir. And
Thanks to
folks,
Nick.
Hey, thanks to Nick and our crew. Well, Nick
Say
is
something,
our
Nick,
crew.
so actually people actually
Yeah, I can
know
hear
that
you.
they're.
Hey,
He's
there you
alive.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
He's right there. And folks, until next time, take care of yourself and stay fit.